Bienvenidos and welcome a Cositas Mami Never Told Me, a podcast that dives deep into the Latin cultural norms that have long haunted the feminine genre. Montate and buckle up porque it's going to be a roller coaster ride. Nos fuimos!
You can't do that. Right before we start recording. Don't edit that out either. Leave that shit.
Hi.
Hola.
Welcome.
Welcome. Hi, everybody.
I'm debating if I should keep these glasses on or not because of the ring light, but they're giving very, with the bun.
Being cute.
I'm giving very librarian today.
Like,
but I really need them.
But it's not a librarian being sexy, porque déjame decirte, that's a sexy librarian.
I need them to read.
Because the librarians that I remember, them bitches was ugly as fuck. I'm so sorry, but they were.
Yo, and you know what I was just thinking about the other day? That,
and that's bad to say. I shouldn't.
Not that teachers nowadays don't smoke. But teachers when we were kids.
Oh my God.
Yo, they smoked a lot.
They like smoke.
I was just thinking that
so
every single one of my teachers
the fuck
smelled like cigarettes.
And they used to bring that shit into our class, but we had secondhand smoke, like, all the time.
Yo, 3rd grade Miss Garska, 6th grade Mr. Mahoney,
oh, shit.
Miss Rick.
You name these mom.
They all smoked.
They all smoke. And I'm aging myself, because back then they could smoke in the teacher's lounge.
Oh, they could?
Yes.
I don't think you could smoke at the teacher's lounge when I was in elementary school, but they reeked.
Yeah, they reeked.
Like cigarettes. And
because I'm aging myself even more, because when I was in elementary school, we had a dentist in-house.
Oh, shit. But I had a dentist in school until like elementary? 2nd grade.
Yeah, elementary.
And the nurse.
And Dr. Tracy, the principal, still had a fucking wood thing to discipline people.
No.
Yep, and he used to hit kids. Not me. They just showed it to me a couple times.
They said, "You see this?"
They showed it to me, and I was like, "You will not need to use that on me, sir."
I will be well behaved.
Big white man.
Oh no! But I say that to say, when you said librarians being ugly, my teachers did not age very well, and maybe it's because they were serious smokers.
Probably. I want to say my white teachers didn't eat.
Well, my white teachers. Well, by the way, all of my teachers were white.
Because my black teacher, we had one Spanish teacher when I was in Barnett Brown Elementary School, and it was Miss Natal, and all the boys loved her because she was curvy Puerto Rican woman, curvy like, and had a buns, okay? Had a buns. Like, splat out, all right?
Not splat out.
And I'm sorry if her son is, if you watch us, I'm not sure, and I won't say your name, but Miss Natal was like, yo, all the boys were all about Miss Natal. She was gorgeous. Like, dark hair.
I love that.
Body.
I love
boobs, butt, everything. So, she aged amazing. So, I know most white women in there was probably mad. Mad as fuck. Like, why are you so curvy?
Because the
Why are you so sexy? Why are you so exotic? That's the word. Exotic.
But you want to hear what's crazy? That my elementary school crush was
a white man,
Mr. DeJesus. And you know who Mr. DeJesus
is? Dad.
So crazy. So Mr. DeJesus is the gym teacher.
I mean, if he looked anything like Fred.
I mean,
even though I don't see Fred like that.
Clearly, I don't either.
You don't either. I know he's attractive. He has it all. Fred is amazing. Just man all around. Mm-hmm. And I mean, like, he put shit together and everything.
Literally, he's coming to my
everything
to put stuff together today.
Yo, he has a fucking toolbox that rolls around. I was so impressed by him. And I continue to tell him that.
Tell them about the reel you wanted to put together.
So I wanted to put, and he's going to hate that we're talking about him.
No, he's not.
So I wanted to put a reel together because he was up there putting a closet system up for Rocio. Mm-hmm. And he's in there with a tool belt, and you know, he's in shape, he's a good looking man. So I was like, we are missing an opportunity. We need to have you rip your shirt off.
Yes, into a hole like it's hot. I'm hot. With the tool belt and
then throw his shirt. And I was like, yo, you know how many fucking DMs you'll get? But then I was like, you already get another DM.
But the funniest part is that when I had gone into the room, he was he was doing something in the closet, and the only thing that popped out was his bubble butt. And
I don't make fun of this man butt on here.
I don't make fun of it. He knows.
It's strong.
It's not fair. It's really not fair. But we digress. My elementary school crush, Mr. Day.
Mr. Day. And he still look good because he does great.
He looks great. Yeah. Me and Freddie didn't know each other at the time. Me and Freddie met at an all-ages nightclub when I was 15. And guess what? His little pickup line for me was, "Oh, you go to school in Hartford. My dad is a principal in Hartford." He was a principal at the time. And I was like, "Oh my God, Mr. DeJesus," because immediately I was like the resemblance, whatever. Yeah. And he said yes, so that was his pickup line. And we dated for like 2 months, and then he went to college, and we stayed friends and whatever. And
I wish I had Mr. DeJesus. I never had any.
One, but he was the gym teacher.
There was only one guy, actually, Mr. Latrick.
Mr. Latrick! Oh my God! Girl!
When he first came out, I was like,
English class? Body.
Wait a minute. And at first he was really, really cool, and then he became strict, but then he found his way. But when I saw him first, I was like,
Mr. Latrick.
I've never seen a white man.
And he had like a little military cut.
And his
body,
could tell,
like on the
weekends. Out. I never looked at, honestly, I never looked at a white man like that before. And when I want to say I was probably a sophomore, and I was like,
shout out to Mr. Latrick. I know McCausland, rest in peace. He was.
Girl, I was just about to bring him up too. But he did.
Exactly. Those were the rumors. We're not going to go there. We're not going to go there. Rest in peace.
Right, rest in peace. He was my favorite working teacher. Oh my God, he was amazing.
When I was.
But Mr. Latrick?
No. So Latrick was like.
But wait, Mr. McCausland had a Harley, y'all. Okay?
Like full
Harley. Okay, with boots and everything. That was back in the day, husband. So
and he was missing a finger like this because he was the wood shop teacher, so it gave him a little gangster. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, gave him street cred.
Street cred.
He broke a few fights too. He broke up a few fights.
He loved black women. The fact that his son's mother
and nothing.
Well, clearly. His son's mother was black, made him even hotter. It's just a whole situation. Yeah. But McCausland, when I was class president, he was the advisor for junior and senior year. I spent so much time in that classroom. But when I tell you he was so cool, he would let me go get Chinese food and keep the door cracked to the room in the back. So I could come back with the Chinese food.
We ain't even going to talk about cool ass people in high school because Owen, the security guard, used to give me Benz. He used to give me his car and say, if you go to Burger King, give me this. Here you go. I used to be like.
So basically, if you go into Burger King, man, I need you to go to Burger King for me real quick. And then get yourself something.
If I needed to get out for prom or if I needed to get out for a basketball game, for whatever, because I used to get my hair done for basketball games. Don't ask.
Just for basketball. And tell them what you used to get. Finger wings.
I used to get it blown out, whatever. I always had a hairstyle before. Don't ask me why. I just wanted.
And Diana also had the matching Reeboks with the same color belt.
Exactly. Everything. Coats, leather coats, boots, everything. But yeah, Owen. Oh my God, Owen was.
You know what's funny that I mean, this is a total non sequitur. We didn't plan this, but I always had security and police officers at school, and I never felt that it was a negative thing. Like, I always felt like maybe it's because we became cool with them and maybe because we weren't the problem kids, but I always felt like it was dope to have that. Yeah. And I feel like now, unfortunately, y'all generation or the younger people who may not or may listen to us are like offended at the fact that there should be police officers or security at school. I mean,
they need it.
I mean, they obviously need it, and you know, unfortunately, we had some. And
my kids actually are cool with they're called resource officers.
Okay.
And now they're not security guards like we used to have. They're actually police officers.
So we had a police officer too. We had two.
Oh, you?
I did. I don't think
we did. I don't think
so. We had Greg security and a few security, but then we had I forget her name, and she was so dope. We had a few. We had yes, we had a dope ass woman.
That's Eric's mom.
From 94 to 98. No.
Oh, she was the one with the freckles?
Yes, light skin with glasses.
That's Eric Gonzalez's mom.
Is it?
Yes. I was just talking to her husband.
For PZ was at school.
Oh my God.
Isn't this crazy? But I always felt like it's now in retro, well, you know, like, I don't know what I was watching the other day and it was like, oh, you know, the schools feel like prisons. And I'm like, I never felt like their presence was a bad thing. I always felt like it was like a great thing.
And I love that they were Hispanic and Black.
100%.
Guards and
100%.
officers.
But by the way, honestly, we went to such a heavily predominantly brown school that I don't think anyone would respect a white.
Yeah, because all the white kids went to like classical.
Well, I was in classical too.
You were in classical?
In honors, in AP. But you're right. All the white kids that came from No Webster.
I was not.
And the West End were in those places.
On the roll, nothing. Yo era mala. But anyway.
But look at us now. But oh my God.
I'm still a little bit bad, but in different places.
The other day she called me an asshole.
Oh my God, I used to talk.
And,
but now she sees when she does asshole.
But you know what's funny? Oh, this little pin is really cute.
It's really cute.
Thank you. Amazon.
I like the way that it's matching with like the neck.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't purposely doing these first,
but everything's happening.
Dining was at my house the other day, and who are we talking about that's an asshole?
I mean, I consider myself to be one, but at the moment, something was happening. I was like, "There's an asshole."
And, like, she looked at me straight in my face and was like, "Well, you know you're an asshole," and I was like, am I? So I had to do some self-reflecting. Well, all of last week, I really embraced that asshole side of me.
But I told her it was an asshole in a good way. Assholes gravitate to assholes. I'm sorry. If you think about a friend group, God, I don't know if people are assholes.
I don't feel about that right now.
People are assholes.
Well, assholes matter in every sense of the word.
Every sense of the word. See that, man?
I've come to find that out lately. So anyway, so how was your week, Dee?
My week was great. I went to a couple of volleyball games, which have been sort of kind of conflicting with my workouts.
That's a problem.
It is a problem.
But how? You go to work out at like 6 a.m.
Yeah, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they only have like a 6 p.m. class, and my daughter's games are at 6. But now what I've come to realize in the realization of the situation of the, is that I'm gonna be late to my daughter's games because
you gotta get that one
a couple times. No,
they gotta get
it in, but they start late. So I'm there. Let me tell you, last week, real quick, I went to a game.
And you're so mad. You're like, I missed my workout. I could have worked out.
I must have said I could have worked out like 6 times to everybody that came in, because I went into the school and everybody was looking at me like, because I was going to a suburban school, first of all, which is predominantly
which is code for white.
Predominantly white. So when I walked in, everybody was sort of kind of looking at me like, what's she doing here? And I was like, okay, shit, what's going on? you know that feeling? Like, I'm not shopping, I'm not stealing. So I walked in, I'm like, so then I saw the JV coach, but I didn't see the team. So I was like,
they late.
Where's the team?
They late.
Yeah, the bus is not here yet. So then JV has to play 3 games before varsity starts. So I was there from like 4:30 to about 9.
Wait, so what time?
My workout's at 6, and then their game started at 7:30. So I could have went to my workout. Mm-hmm. So I told my daughter on Tuesdays and Thursdays, if you have games, I'm gonna be late.
As long as you catch her by that second.
Yeah, I'm gonna be late. And I'm gonna go in there with my sweaty ass, vagina, and butt. What happened? I just finished working out. Maybe I should join me.
Maybe all the motherfuckers there need to get a workout.
There's a few people.
I can guarantee.
I ain't trying to shade nobody.
But that was shady.
Asshole.
And I'm here to point that out. What did I do this weekend? So happy Latino History Month. Latinx. I don't embrace the Latinx. I don't embrace the Latinx. I think we haven't even done a good job at solidifying Latino. So it is September and we have started Latino Heritage Month. So what did I do? I went to see my mom speak at Trinity College, which was great. They had her there speaking to La Voz Latina, which is their Latin ERG group. And then I was invited to a gender wealth gap conference, which was a lot of like bad bitches. Like, I don't even know how I got invited to this thing. But like, no. I mean, like ambassadors from the United Arab Emirates, Iceland, like movers and shakers, like real women but they're like making real impact in like the globe. So my girlfriend Indiana, who's an amazing human being, Diana knows her as well. At LinkedIn, shout out Iliana.
I was so glad to hang out with her and Erica. Shout out. So, and both of them are like bad bitches. About to talk about bad bitches. Go ahead.
So Iliana is a senior person at LinkedIn. Erica owns a dry bar in
New York somewhere.
Not upstate, in Rockland County. So if you're ever in the area, shout out to Erica and Dry Bar. And then Ty Heath, who is like major bad bitch at LinkedIn, was on the panel. So they invited me to sit with them at their table. And it was just so dope. You know, like, it's like this weird thing of like, I have a hard time going to things and not critiquing them because I feel like I'm so passionate, especially when it comes to the Latina space. Mm-hmm. I think it was really well done. The woman, and I'm going to mess up her name, but I know her first name is Claudia Edelman, Romo Edelman. She's a Mexican woman. She has an amazing organization called We Are All Human. And she put this entire event together, and their organization really specializes in the pathway for Latinos. So their goal is to get more Latinas into CEO spots and executive spots and like setting that pathway. I just feel like there were a few things lacking, like it was a Latina brunch and the lunch was smoked salmon, which I thought was kind of like a disconnect.
It was like a que pasa.
It was kind of like pero what happened?
Pero what happened? You could have had some tacos with empanadillas.
Or just like tapped into different
Latino.
Latino. I just felt like that was a bit of a disconnect. And then I also, like I like to have real resolutionary conversations around these topics. So meaning like, most of the people there were representing their companies. Mm-hmm. So to an extent, you have to be a little filtered. And I just feel like until you're having real conversations
without worrying about honest, your job.
Yes, without worrying about how you're saying something. Yeah. Exactly. It's like, change needs to come, and that's through allyship, which is like allyship meaning having partnerships with white women who are using their voice and their platform and their privilege to help in moving us forward is essential, 100%. It's not to eliminate white women, but it has to be in a space where you can have honest conversation about the shit that we deal with as Latinas, as brown women as a whole, that they just don't deal with.
Right.
So I just think that there was a few disconnects there, but that being said, I'm here for anything that is moving the agenda forward, even if it's a millimeter of a step. What else did I do? I think being in New York also gives me this like energy, and Diana probably noticed because I sent her like 17 text messages about the podcast as I was in the city. So I felt like I don't want to live in New York again. I think New York has a lot of work to do after COVID, in my opinion. But there is a very unspoken energy that New York gives you as a creative and as a hustler to just like want to do more. And there's more from a growth perspective. So all in all, good weekend. And now we're here. What are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about being a bad bitch. So bad bitches have bad days too. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Megan Thee Stallion song, which we'll tap into later. But it's okay to have a bad day. Mm-hmm. Right? And we don't talk about it enough, especially as Latino women. I don't think that we talk about, mental health. We don't talk about, everything has to be so quiet. And I'm so embarrassed, Oh no, of course not. Like, this is totally to the left, but my mom says she never went through menopause. Listen, Mom, you did. And
the funny thing is, I feel like my mom has been having hot flashes since I was born.
Not only the hot flash.
Siempre hay calor.
The mood. The fucking roller coaster of moods. You know
since I was born.
And then, right, man.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, but yeah, so you were saying, which I thought was amazing, and I want you to explain it. What you think bad bitch is? It's not necessarily what you do or whatever. It's more of a.
So I think that, in my opinion, there is unfortunately, because what we have found and what I have found throughout my career or my life is that we suffer, a lot of us, because I know some, what we would call executive women and what we see as society as successful, like senior women at Google and like Tesla, who are dealing with some serious shit. You get what I'm saying? But I say that to say that it is like, to me, a disconnect to think that being a bad bitch has to do with what you do for a living or for as a career. Like, I definitely think it's a mindset. I think we do what I was going to touch upon earlier, mentioning the women from Google, is that I'm around these environments, and no matter what you do or how successful you are, we have a tendency to self-deprecate. We have a tendency to be insecure. Even if we're the most secure person, even if we are super successful at what we do, even if on our social media we give off this energy, because, why would so many people want to follow you if you're not always having a good day? You get what I'm saying? So it's like, we have the first thing we go to, and we talked about this actually this weekend at the table, because Claudia was suggesting that we have real conversation intimately, while the panel was about to happen. And the first thing that came up is, like, as a Black woman, when I was stepping into corporate, and this is Ty was sharing the story, the first thing she had to think about was how she should wear her hair. And it's like, the fact that she had to spend time and energy on something that a white woman would never have to deal with is what I feel like, and this is like a minimal example, leads us to naturally be inclined to have these self-deprecating thoughts. Like, it's like the first thing we go to is like, I'm not good enough, or was that good enough? Or I was invited to speak somewhere and everyone is telling me it was great, but inside I'm like, was it great? So I say that to say about self-deprecation and about insecurities being kind of rooted in us, leading us to believe that to be a bad bitch, you have to be an entrepreneur, or you have to be a senior executive, or you have to be someone that's making a global change, or you have to be someone who is like running shit from a societal standard of work. But to me, a bad bitch is a mentality. Like, you can be a stay-at-home mother. You can be caretaking for your ill husband or mother or family member. You could be a 9-to-5er. You could be, as Diana said, a stripper. You could be doing adult work. You could be doing whatever you have to do to make money, to put food on the table for your family. Like, it's about the mindset. Like, if we think about it, and I just thought about this, Cardi B is a great example of this. Like, she has never veered from being honest about her background. Stripping, her ass not being real, being from the hood, being overly sexual, sex positive, I like to say. But it's funny because now that she's famous, we think she's a bad bitch.
Right.
But if we were to turn Cardi B into the girl who's at Gold Club up the street, she's not a bad bitch.
Right.
You know?
But I'm going to tell you, the girls at Gold Club right now,
bad bitches. Because a bitch is really thinking about putting my feet on OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I might do something else. But I want to give you the definition of bad bitch mentality, because there's a definition out there. So just in case you're wondering what it is, this is going to be sort of kind of long, but I'm just going to take the good parts out of it. Having the mindset that you can do anything and everything you want in this world, even if everyone tells you you can't do it, because, there's some haters out here, but you tell them, yes, I can. Watch me. Having a bad bitch mentality is now considered a positive trait, right? And girls with a bad bitch mentality go farther, stronger, and harder, and always come out on top because they never stop. They never give up, and that is why they succeed. So that's what Rosia was talking about, having that mentality. So whatever it is that you do, if you're hustling, if you're a stripper, if you are a CEO at a company, if you are a mom that's juggling parent meetings and all that stuff, if you're a mom that's also working, if whatever it is that you're doing, as long as you have that bad bitch mentality, you're getting shit done, that is good. But we talking about bad bitch mentality, but also that it's okay to have that bad day. It's okay to make sure that you're human. So you're going to have bad days too. So that's why we was trying to talk about this. So like that, some people, they want to, put that perfect out there. If you go on Instagram,
lots of people,
I want to say
trust me,
8 out of 10 people are putting that positive. They're doing everything beautiful, everything's perfect, everything. And then you see them in person and they're in fucking shambles. And you're like, but wait a minute.
Yeah, because how you, for example, I'm being petty, but like how you on Instagram is slowly you losing weight, but you're not showing us when you're taking the shots of Ozempic. Like, real talk. So what happens is someone who's following you because you're this inspirational person, blah, 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 is now starting to feel insecure or starting to feel like, fuck, whatever I'm doing is not working. I'm not saying that in social media, whatever, however you build your brand, do you. But I do think that we need to find a way as individuals to be strong enough and founded enough in our bad bitchness to not be impacted by what other people are doing.
Right.
I feel like that's probably the first tool that you need to remind yourself, yeah, I'm a bad bitch. Like, in the sense of individualized, regardless of what's happening around you in your environment. Because if anything is like, social media, I saw this, I forget what it's called on Netflix, but I think it's called the Social Media Dilemma or something, where it's like, the goal of social media was meant to be a good thing. Right. It's brought families together. It keeps people connected. But like anything with monetization, as you're trying to build money, which let's remember, this is a business, everything is a business, there has to be ways to turn these things into engines that make people money. So it allows for spaces where people now are thinking to build their brand and not necessarily be honest with themselves. But I can talk about that forever and go on a tangent. But I do think that there's something to be said about bad bitch being a mentality, not just like a catchy phrase that Meg Thee Stallion has kind of owned.
Yes. And also, back to having a bad thing. It's okay. You need to talk to your people. And if you have people that you can't talk to, then you need to get some people. Get some people and talk to them, because at the end of the day, you're going to find out that they went through the same shit. Because we were just talking before we even started recording, and we some broken ass people. We're broken. Everybody got some shit. And if you're perfect, congratulations. I want nothing to do with you.
Basically.
You know what I'm saying? Be broken. It's okay. Everybody got their shit. Everybody's going through some shit. Everybody's going to go through some shit. Everybody's life is not perfect. And again, like I said, if it is, congratulations. Shit is probably boring.
That part.
It's probably boring. So talk to people, because you'll find out that you're not the only one that, forgot to send the lunch to your daughter's or son's school. You're not the only one that has to now go run and bring the cleats because you forgot to put them in the book bag. You're not the only one. You're not the only one. And those are just, minor examples, but you're not the only one. Like,
yeah, you're not the only one who's been on 10 interviews and think you're about to get this job. and you feel so good about it, and unconsciously, subconsciously, privately, you planning already how you're going to navigate this new position and how you're going to kill it because you know you're so perfect for it.
That's what you do, because I navigate how much money I'm going to be spending.
That part. But the worst for me is that I literally start strategizing for these brands. I get excited about it. I'm like, oh my God, so many things that I could do. And then you never hear back sometimes. Or you hear back and the critique.
Well, that should just happen to me, honest. As you know, it just happened to me, and they went with someone that had the same title, so it would have been a promotion for me, but they transitioned to somebody that had the same title. And I was just like, okay, so send me some feedback, and when that person doesn't work out,
exactly. but I wanna touch upon that, because that's an example of how you're a bad bitch on a daily, but you dealt with something that could have impacted that mindset for you. Mm-hmm. So what is it that you tap into, or what is it that you do? Like some people have affirmations, some people do other things, some people could just shake it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is it in that example, which is kind of minimal to someone like Diana? But like, what is it that you tapped into to transition out of the mindset?
Well, first of all, when they reached out to me, so that was the thing, right? So I'm very happy where I'm at right now. So, and I'm comfortable, but they reached out to me. So I was like, okay, this won't hurt. If anything, it'll help me practice for, I haven't interviewed in a long time. So let me practice, right? So interviewed on the phone a couple times, past that, went to the next phase, which was interviewing with 2 people that would be, in the team that I would be assisting or whatever. So, thought the interviews went great, had them laughing. They were just like, oh my gosh, you're amazing, blah, 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 and they're probably telling everybody this. But in my mind, I and it took a long time for me to get here, right? Because like I said, that brokenness, and you start just like trying to piece stuff together and puzzles and it took me a while to get here, but what I found is that I put my best foot forward, and if they don't want me, they're lost, and it's out of my control.
But how did you get, or maybe you don't even know, but how did you do that? So it's like, if we're going to be able to provide a tool today, like, what is it? Or is there something, is it like, do you just kind of like repeat to yourself the positive talk or whatever? Because it's like, it's so easy to be like, fuck it. Like
there's a lot of positive talk. Yeah. There's a lot of self-reflection. There was a lot of preparation, because I had people throwing questions at me, and there was a lot of preparation. I made sure that I was ready, because it was gonna be a lot of money. So I was like, I get this.
But I think
no, I was saying when I did this, honestly, because
but she's really good at that. Like, Diana's really good at even stopping me to be like, when, instead of if. But I want to know how you got there. Like,
I got there with work, just like going through life and getting knocked down a million times, going through life and giving myself pep talks, right? Because there was a lot of times where, like, even with my daughter, I was going through postpartum depression, and I didn't know what that was. And until I said something to my doctor was when he was like, oh, wait, you're going through postpartum depression. And I'm like, what is this? Because I was having crazy thoughts about like just suicide. You know what I'm saying? And I never really shared that with anybody, but I was having thoughts about it. But I was like, well, why am I having these thoughts? So I was having these thoughts, but then also talking to myself like, I have a beautiful family. Why am I having these thoughts? Right. So then I was like, let me talk to my doctor about this.
And that's great, because the thing with postpartum is your hormones take control
of your body.
Like, damn, I don't think they say, like, why is this happening? But when it's hormones and like the chemicals in your brain, you really can't control it.
You can't control it. And then I already had anxiety. So partner that up with crazy thoughts, right? So then
a new baby.
And then a new baby, right? So then, but then there's 4 kids in the house. And then partner that up that I was going to have a surgery for hysterectomy. So...
Girl, put me in a fetal position in the closet and find me later. Yeah.
So it was a lot of work, a lot of therapy. I started seeing a therapist, a lot of therapy, and just putting into practice the things that the therapist was telling me to do, and reading. I found that at that time I tapped into my spiritual side. I started going to church a lot, and then just reading the word and all that stuff. And I'm kind of mad at myself, transparently, and very, because I tend to go there when I need to, when I should stay there. So I'm working on that. I'm a work in progress, as a lot of people say. But but yeah, just the getting knocked down, getting that work, just working on yourself, and the self talk, the pep talk, and allowing myself to be broken in front of other people, sharing my brokenness with other people, and saying, even if the person don't reciprocate, just saying, hey, my best friend Nat is the best at, because she is my vault, and she knows, and so is Rocio. I've shared so many things with her, and it's just a way to vent it off, and and when I'm doing work on myself, I'm also thinking about what I would like to hear. So when my friends are going through their times, are having their things, well, let me give you what I want, what I would want you to tell me. So I'm pouring into you so that you can pour back into me. So it just took a lot of work, and I'm about to be a big age next year. A big age. Right there. So it just took a lot of work, and work. You only get that one brain, one body, one. So you just have to work on that. It's, and purposely, it's purposeful.
It's
you have to make sure that you have a lot of the right people, and it took a lot, because. Good example. Back in the day, I used to smoke a lot of marijuana, and I had a lot of friends back in the day, because I used to provide the marijuana, and then I used to cook when I smoked the marijuana. So, but then I was like, I can't be doing this. Like, I'm having these kids. Like, so I stopped smoking, and I lost friends. But in my head, I'm like, okay, so these friends were only around because, so they're not real friends. So let me get me some real friends. Let me go through some shit with some real friends, and whoever fall off, they fall off. But but you have to make sure. And I know there's that song, No New Friends by Drake, right? And a lot of people want to say, oh, no new friends, whatever. But you need friends. Like, you need people that you could share experiences with, good and bad. I had an actual situation happen where this girl I knew was at her lowest. And Natalie always says, you always trying to fix people. You always trying to find your friend. Right. And I was like, well, that people usually find me. Right. So in my head, I'm like, well, God put this person in my path for a reason. We built this person up. We built her up. Like all my friends from the gym, we built this person up. She goes and gets engaged. We find out through Facebook. I was like, okay, if you like it, I love it. But I started taking a step back then, because now you built up. Now you
because what she was able to do is take.
Right, exactly.
And because there are those relationships too.
Right. So I took a step back, because in my mind, I'm like, you good, you strong, whatever. And she started, reaching out like, what's wrong with it? And I gave it to her. This is what's wrong. I built you up. And then when you didn't need me no more, so okay, I'm gonna give you your space, like, and not in petty, but you're not pouring into me. I'm pouring into you like crazy. Your cup runneth over, like, but you're not even
overflow enough where you got engaged,
right? And I gotta find out through Facebook, like. But anyways, she probably gonna be mad when she hear the.
Don't worry, we don't know who you are, or do we?
She knows who she is. A couple people know who she is. Because, Natalie know who she is too. Because I was like, well, let me call Nat. So, like that, you can't tell people that I'm telling you straight up. Because that's how I am. I'm not, you either like me or you don't. Like, there's no gray area. I'm going to tell you, if your jeans look crazy, I'm going to tell you them shits look crazy. And I expect people to do the same for me. Like,
right.
That's what bad bitches do.
Exactly.
That was a long-winded answer.
No, but I love it. I love it because it's that reminder of bad bitches having bad days, but it's also important to be like, we'll talk about bigger resources towards the end of the conversation, but it's important to, like I started telling Sophie, we don't have bad days. We have bad moments within what could be still a good day. Because I've I'm not exactly sure what's been happening in the last few years of my life, but I feel a deep sense of appreciation for time, and I feel a deep sense of appreciation for relationships, and I feel just a deep sense of appreciation for life. Yes, excuse me. But I think it's important for people to know that it's as simple as reading the word. I know we curse a lot and we talk a lot about sex and we talk a lot about things that are taboo, but me and Diana are two God-fearing women who, at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day, it's like we know we were put here for a purpose by something way bigger than us. And it's funny that you mentioned that about going to church, because I think Phil had a conversation with you, but he always says, people always go to God at the end or when they're in their turmoil, when you should have just been with him at the beginning, the whole way through it.
Phil actually cussed me out without cussing him. He was like, Diane, look at all the blessings in your life.
He just became a Southern man.
And I was like, I thought we were getting in front of each other.
Exactly. You're like,
he was like, you need to open yourself to God. I was like, I am open to God. You know what I mean? I was like, I do.
Exactly.
Okay. So you know what? And I've been on a path to try to find because I went somewhere, and I'm also the type of person that I see through, and not to
the bullshit.
Yeah. Some places of worship are, they want to raise money, and I understand that they want to raise money to make sure the parish continues and all this. But some of these mega churches, I'm like, and I find, and I found my niche in a couple of them, but then it's just like, I don't know.
Well, when you find one, let me know.
It's just hard.
Looking for a good church.
I wanted to go to I think it was Vox. Jenny told me about Vox in downtown Hartford. I wanted to try that out. And then there's another one that, they're supposed to be like a, open type of, so
as you are.
Yeah. And I just want to be able to go somewhere. And I really like the one that my mom goes to, and I'll probably just go there, honestly. But, I feel good whenever I go. It's not a bad feeling that I get. I always cry because it's just, I'm cleansing myself.
Yeah.
I'm
it's like the Holy Spirit.
Yeah. I'm always cleansing, crying. And I always feel like the preacher is looking straight in my soul, like, hey.
Because that's how the Holy Spirit works. It's like he's using this person as a vessel to send them.
Like they're speaking right, and I'm like,
you're like, oh, I hear you.
No, but yeah, I have to do better, and I will. He knows my heart.
I always say that too.
He knows my heart.
I feel like I've had a lot of pressure probably my whole adult career because I've had such great success professionally. And I say that, I shouldn't even say that. I've had great success professionally, but I feel like that's also part of the societal, what people deem as success, because I've worked with a lot of famous people. So people automatically like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But I started as an assistant. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's not necessarily like CEO, bad bitch status. But I say that for me, it has been tricky to tap into that bad bitch as I've transitioned to entrepreneurship and still having some, high net worth clients here and there, but it's not as consistent as when I worked for Puff or when I worked for Jay or when I was with Ellen, so I had to chip away at my ego, excuse me, and remind myself that I'm still a bad bitch, that I'm still a bad bitch as a mother, as a wife, as a daughter, as someone who is choosing herself, as someone who is choosing happy, as someone who's defining the parameters and boundaries for myself. Like, it's not just professionally, but I did deal with, and Diana knows this because I would call her and be like, my ego is like that chip of like, who are you or who am I if I'm not connected to this person or what are you professionally if I can't be like, oh yeah, you know, I work for Ellen DeGeneres or I'm building so-and-so's brand. And it's like, that was for me, and because of the circles that I, you know, professionally have been in, I always had this perception of those women being the bad bitches. You know, I never saw
yourself.
Yes, I never saw especially as I was transitioning into entrepreneurship or didn't have a client that was significant. Or
but by the way,
okay,
a lot of people be talking about they a bad bitch and they really don't be. I'm just saying. Some people be like, I'm a bad bitch. And then they become the bad bitch because they started with that.
Wow.
Do your thing.
Let's touch upon that.
I'm just saying.
Because I just ran into this social media woman who's like the number one speaker, blah, blah, blah.
Was she number one? Was she good?
Well, she's not necessarily my style, but she has, you know, because the key to branding is...
But if she's number one, she should be everybody's style.
Right.
But
it's not my style. But she has started this thing. So you know how manifestation has become like a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And manifestation, depending on what you think about it or how you see it, it's not something as simple as like, I think I'm a millionaire, therefore I am a millionaire. That's not the mindset. Manifestation is putting in the work and continuing to have, like Diana, that positive thinking, that living as if you are. But what this woman has come up with is something called scripting. And I guess it's become big enough where she's got like, I don't know how many million followers, but it's living as if you already are.
So sort of kind of like a vision board in action?
Yes. So you speak to yourself like, today I met with my first client. I closed the deal for $50,000. I had my baby. My son's name is Isaiah. You know, like whatever you're hoping for or wanting or desiring in that season. And I was like, oh, it's like a playoff manifestation.
Today I'm gonna go buy my Rolls Royce truck.
Well, that's the thing. I think because I'm so jaded, I don't know if it's because I've worked in this space for so long where I'm like, well, I identify as a millionaire. What is that? What else do I have to do? Should I call the energy company and should I just be like, I'm a millionaire? Like,
why are you bothering me?
Don't you know who I am? I'm a fucking millionaire. Why are you bothering me? Like, I don't need to pay your $200 bill.
You know who I am?
Just look up my fucking.
Oh my God, I would never say that to somebody. Even if we like.
Oh my God, do you remember Brandy? That whole thing with Brandy and Ray J?
Oh my God, I would never.
When Ashton Kutcher, do you remember when he had that show, Punk'd?
Oh yeah.
And Brandy got stopped. It's probably aging. But Brandy, if you know or don't know, Brandy was being punked. And she got stopped by the cop. And what did she say to him? Do you know who I am?
That's embarrassing.
That's tacky.
That's...
If you have to say, do you know who I am? They don't know who you are. They don't know who you are. They don't care. And that was a bad bitch in a non-bad bitch moment, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I do want to pivot into Meg Thee Stallion, who inspired, in a sense, this conversation. Her song, we're going to dive into that, and some really dope resources that she has that we didn't even know existed.
Because if you go onto Bad Bitches Have Bad Days Too,
literally,
that's actually a site that Megan Thee Stallion has put together so that people can go on there and look for help, resources for, suicide prevention. If you want to find a therapist, she even has a whole section on LGBTQI plus, QIA plus. I'm sorry if I'm messing up the
alphabet community. We are extremely sensitive and accepting of you all. It's just very.
Yeah, we
there's
just
a lot
want
of
to make
pluses.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that we're getting everybody. But it is literally called Bad Bitches Have Bad Days Too. And when I'm looking to the left here, it's because I have my laptop. And I don't
Diana is resourcing.
I'm resourcing. So no,
the researching.
So she has like a therapy. She has a therapy platforms where you can go on there And she also has mental health resources, and you keep scrolling down.
Which has like phone numbers, different organizations you can call if you are having more than a bad day.
Right.
Because I do want to address that.
Yeah. And then
yes, for me it's like
LGBTQIA plus and other communities. So just in case that,
because I do believe there's more letters now.
Yes.
But I mentioned earlier that I'm trying to instill in my daughter, you don't have bad days, you have bad moments within your day. But the reality is that sometimes one bad day becomes 2, 3,
and when
4,
it rains,
5.
it fucking pours.
Yes. You know, like not everyone is equipped to deal with loss, like health, death, financial fucking bankruptcy. Like there are some serious fucking issues that will pour into more and more and more and more days.
But then you also need to, not to cut you off, you also need to fucking see, right, that these small tiny issues, you need to fucking get the fuck up and die. Okay, don't make the little tiny ass fucking issue into a fucking cancer. Because cancer grows.
And not only, because what happens if you are making, I'll give an example. If that motherfucker ain't treating you right, if that motherfucker is wasting your time, if that man, woman, whomever your partner is not pouring into you, and you are wasting time, emotion, physicality, that deserves a bad bitch moment, not a bad bitch for day. You get what I'm saying? Because guess what? Especially as we get older, which we have found, what is coming and inevitable is health issues, is death, is parents dying, is siblings dying, is friends getting sick and passing away, it's bills, it's financial, it's your kids, it's work. If COVID has not taught us anything, it's that life is unpredictable.
And short.
So if you are wasting time on the small bullshit, girl.
Or boy.
Or
they.
Or
whatever.
Man. Or he, she, it.
Hey, they.
Them.
All of y'all.
I like that you mentioned that, Diana, though, for real. Because there are some things where girl, boy, them, they.
It's not that serious.
We got to aquí es que se ponen los panties y los pantalones, and you be like, you know what? Fuck that.
And you can have your moment, like we said, because we're human. We always say that. You always have to sit in that moment, reflect on it, compare it to some other shit that you went through. Because us, we keep picking the same body in a different body.
But when you think about, first of all, compared to some other shit you went to, because when you sit and think about some shit that you have come out of,
you don't want to go into the same shit.
Not only, but when you think about the mental space you were in at the time, you're like, bitch, I could do anything.
Right.
I could fucking do anything.
Because when you were in that space and in that moment, oh my God, I'm going to die. Think about your first breakup. That first motherfucker that broke
your heart. Or even your first breakup.
Breakup. The first real breakup where you were like,
girlfriend who fucking traded
you didn't want to take a bath, nothing. You don't even want to eat.
Thank God I've never been there. Fuck that.
What? I had that breakup when I didn't want to eat.
Really?
I didn't want to do nothing.
Diana!
Yes, girl. I had that fucking breakup.
No.
And I was sharing that motherfucker too. And I didn't even know.
Yo, I've never been there.
I've been there. But guess what? That shit gave me an armor. A super fucking...
Yo, I've never... Not eat.
Como una estúpida llorando.
I love
it. I can't breathe.
And he was cheating?
I can't breathe.
And he was cheating?
I didn't find out till after the fact.
Oh.
That I was sharing this man.
No.
Ahora, por favor.
But let's talk about
Aftermarket.
Yes, because we have daughters, we have nieces, we have whatever. My best friend's daughter is an amazing, gorgeous, tall, beautiful. And it's crazy that she's like a big softball player, whatever, but she's struggling in high school, maintaining friendships. And it's like the biggest thing to her. It's like she doesn't even know how she's going to get through it. And I wish I could insert in her that it's like, girl.
It's not that serious.
It's not that
these people.
Not only, it's like, girl, like how many, I have a handful of friendships from high school down. Mm-hmm. It's really not until adulthood, and I won't even call college adulthood, but even if you don't go to college, it's not until you get into the workforce or you start to really understand who you are and what you really like and your voice and all this shit where you're like, that's where your real friendships are made. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but she's devastated at times.
And listen, and she's in high school. Because I have a I won't say her name because she listens to the podcast. And I'm sorry, I'm sharing your business. But she was having a hard time and she just graduated college.
My God.
She was having a hard time. And I was like, fuck those bitches.
So that's the
thing. Fuck those bitches. You know why? Because now I don't fucking see them anymore.
Yes.
Now they're being fucking bitches. So fuck them. Find your new people. Find your new people.
Like, why would you even want to maintain or be in a circle of women that are unkind?
Well, first of all, they were white.
So here's the thing. I will address it. Olivia is an Afro-Latina, and it's always with the white girls.
That's what and I understand that you have to have friends but they also have to understand you. That's why the white women that are in my life and I always offer myself to be a resource. Whatever you have a question about, and I know I am not fully a black woman, but I know enough black women that if I don't know the answer, I can call my best friend who's black and be like, hey, listen, my white friend has a question about this. So you're not making a fucking fool of yourself.
But it goes.
And this is what I tell my white friends. And the same shit. And if you can ask me, I'm going to ask you about 100%. White people. Why y'all do this? Because I don't understand.
True allyship.
That's true allyship.
Because bad bitches come in every shade.
Exactly. My girlfriend Lori,
there's some
she listens, hey Lori, but she has her alter ego is Gina, and Gina.
Wait, were you on FaceTime with her the other day?
Yeah, and she'd be doing her neck like this, and I'd be like, yes, I rubbed off on her.
Shout out to Lori.
I rubbed off on her with the neck.
But what is it? What is it? You know, I do think there's something to be said about. Let's say you go to a very predominantly white high school, you don't have exposure to other cultures, your insensitivity. I will say this, and maybe I am stereotyping or generalizing. I don't think I've ever dealt with mean girl mentality in high school. I do think that mean girl mentality is very cultural, and not always, but more specific to the Caucasian environment.
I dealt with it in high school.
Mean girls.
Yeah. But I'm also different color.
Were you the
I'm a different color than you. No.
Just saying, asshole.
Girl, I was not a mean girl. I don't think I've ever been the mean girl until I got older.
Ask my sister if Diana was the mean girl.
No. I brought your sister into the phone. What you talking about?
I know she did. She's like, my name's Diana, you're going to be my friend. Because we're dating the boys on the soccer team.
Like that.
Sit here, bitch.
First of all, I thought that Jessica had amazing style. She's always had amazing style.
Because she did.
She still does. And she still does. No, but she had amazing style. And so I was like, I want to be her friend. So I called her over and I was like, but she tells a different story where she says, it changed my life.
It's Diana becoming her friend changed her. 100%.
No, but when I was a freshman in high school, this girl who was a sophomore was trying to bully me. And then she was like, meet me after school. And she didn't know that.
But I feel like bully is one thing.
No, but she was being a mean asshole to me. And I ignored her.
Mean Girls is a clique. Like that whole Mean Girl clique where you get together and you create this like group of girls who are now against one girl.
It wasn't plural, but the bitch was mean. For no reason.
What's her name?
No, I can't, because you know what?
Because guess what?
Her name was Leslie.
Now you probably listened.
No, her name was Leslie, and she's very well known. I won't say what she does, but people in her family I'm talking about.
I know.
Well, I'll tell the story now. So she tried to, and she was this short little thing. So she was trying to be mean to me. I was like, whatever. You know, like I wasn't even paying attention because honestly, my parents always said, you know, if a person's smaller than you, Don't waste your time on me.
Well, the money thing is, your mom was a fighter.
My mother was a fighter.
We discussed this on the past episode.
She was little though. She was like.
So you would have been the mother if you would have hit her.
Yeah, and I would look like.
So what was it about her delivery that was fucking with your head?
Well, she was me. It wasn't fucking with my head until she said, "Meet me after school. I'm gonna beat you up."
But she was small.
And I was like, "Okay." I want to tell you that before the day was over, all my basketball friends.
I was gonna say, P.S. Diana has like 72 cousins on like a group chat. I would not fuck.
But not only that, my cousins, my basketball friends, because I was brand new to the high school, and I used to play basketball. So all my basketball friends, which a lot of them were lesbians, like the butch kind, and
meaning we're being stereotypical in this moment.
No, they
will fuck you up.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. And then, so by the time the end of the day came, they called me into the office to say if I have an issue with Leslie because she's transferring to Buckley. So in the time,
wait, so were you Leslie's bully?
No, from the morning where she told me we were gonna fight, it spread, and I guess a few people went up to her and were like, "If you fight Diana, you fight us." So by the end of the day, when they pulled me, I went on the school bus.
Thing. Why was she fucking with you?
I don't know. I think it might have been that I knew a lot of the guys, but I knew a lot of the guys because I played basketball and I used to play basketball at the Y with them. And I think she was trying to get with one of the guys that played basketball. But anyways, by the end of the day, they told me that, and I was like, "Well, I have nothing to do." She was the one, and I told my math teacher to vouch for me. He said, "Well, yeah, it happened in my classroom. She was threatening Diana. Diana was threatening her." Yeah. So then I got into the school bus and they was like, "Yo, what's up with this girl? Where's she at?" I was like, "She transferred to Buckley." I said, "What did I do?"
So what Diana's confirming is that she started her bad bitch path at a very young
age. I didn't even know that I had that much support.
That is bad bitch quality.
I didn't know I had that much support.
You are.
Well, I came from the project. When you look at the projects, everybody know you. So it wasn't even.
And that's how I was made sure to know Diana.
So good. Even though, as we know, she used to be a little cock blocker back in the day.
Oh, 100%.
But she's amazing, though.
Oh, well, now I am.
You've been amazing. Shut up.
I also used to take my sister's clothes and then tell her I didn't wear them. And now who's taking whose clothes? My sister.
Payback's a bitch.
Oh, bitch. But in all seriousness, as we wrap on Bad Bitches Have Bad Days, too, I would love to... and Diana will close her points, is 1, please take mental note of what you're allowing to affect you and give you the bad day or bad moment, however you want to deal with it respectfully. Please take note and measure it. Give it weight. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion, if it's a man, a partner, or whatever, who is just not making room for healthy you growth, that's something you need to take deeper thought about. You get
and relationships also at work.
100%. First of all, sometimes the relationships at work are way more toxic than your relationships in your personal life. Mm-hmm. I've dealt with that. Oh, she knows. Mm-hmm. Hugely, which actually, first of all, if you think about it, we spend more time with our coworkers. After COVID, things have changed. You don't have to go into the office, but you spend more time with your boss, your coworkers, than you do with your family. Number 2, in the work environment professionally, you feel the pressure of being a breadwinner or the financial strongholds that money has on you or what you make or blah, blah, blah. But in my opinion, you shouldn't ever allow anyone to be disrespectful to you as a bad bitch, professionally or personally or on the fucking street. Oh, P.S. Yesterday, you would have been so proud of me. I was in New York in an Uber, and there were these 2 girls, and they were like plus-size girls, but they were taking pictures in front of this really dope background, and I put the window down, and I was like, she didn't look at me. She was like, but she got that shot. Yeah, she got that shot. Yeah. And it was like, can you imagine if that's really how we conducted ourselves as
all the time?
Like, all the time. Which Diana's so good at it. I tend to do too, but I'm like, feeling.
Why not? If you see somebody, if you seeing somebody with bad bitch vibes, let them know, bro. Yes, why not? Shit. Sometimes people need that push, that one little yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do it. It doesn't cost anything. Like, you're not being jealous. You're not being nothing. Just fucking do it. Why not?
And by the way, that makes you a queen bad bitch.
Right.
When you have the ability to identify, because you never know if the fellow bad bitch is actually in her bad day moment.
Right. And you never know when you're going to have a fucking bad moment and the shit is reciprocated. Where, karma. When somebody going to do that shit right back to you. Yeah. So, did you wrap up already?
Yeah. I mean, my third point would just be to use the resources, know who your circle of friends are, and hold people accountable, like Diana did. Like, especially as we get older, it's great to be able to humble yourself enough to pour into people, but it's also essential to identify when you're not being poured into.
Mm-hmm. You pour too, girl. You're a good pourer.
Well, thank you.
You be pouring. Okay, well, my point would be, if you need help, find the help. If you need therapy, find the therapy. If you want to talk to somebody, resource. Yes, bad bitches have bad days too.
And you can't forget that.
You can't forget that. Megan Thee Stallion. It's just that. You could Google bad bitches have bad days too, and it'll pop up.
Shout out to Jay Brown and Rock Nation and everything they're doing over
It's such a great site. It's such a great site. It has so many resources on there. But even if you don't want to go on that site, just Google therapy or, Google whatever you're going through and just read up on it. You're not the only person. Like, if you're having a bad day or feeling anxiety or going through a bout of depression, you're not the only. This is why they have all this medicine and all this shit. People are making millions, right? But there's so many other avenues that you can use, whether it's working out, whether it's meditating, there's so many different things. And if you do want to, medicinal situations, but if you do want to take a pill and get medicated, those things work too. You just gotta find your name that goes with your hormones, and you gotta be very, very transparent with your doctor. Talk to them about how you're feeling. That's why they're there. That's why you have insurance. Use that shit. Don't be ashamed about the way that you're feeling. Don't bottle shit up, because that shit just trickles into your fucking physical, into your body, into your everything that's going on. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be, no. So make sure that you get the help that you need. Talk to your people. And if you don't have the people, I've reached out to people because I know their energy is off, and then they fucking just break down, and it stays with me. I have no reason to be like, oh, this person, you should have seen them. They portray this, but they not. I don't do that. I'm not that type of person. I will pour into you, because usually if you're put in my path, it's like, yo, you good? And people usually just tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. So just talk to people. And if somebody asks you, are you okay? You're not. Tell them you're not. They're asking you, are you okay? Tell them if you're not okay. Be like, no, I'm having this because of this. And I bet you any kind of money they'll say, I remember when this happened to this person, or it happened to me. You could do this. You never know. You have all these resources that you're not even tapping into because you just want to bottle shit up. Don't bottle shit up. And if when it's a little thing, like Rocio was saying, let it be a little thing. Have your moment. Don't let it fuck up your whole fucking day, because the day turned into week. The week turned into month. The little then you can't handle big shit.
Because the big shit is coming.
The big shit's always going to come. That's life. That's the only constant is change. And with change comes bullshit. So, hey, mira.
I do think, too, that if you do look into therapy, just from my personal experience, and I know my sister and a few people, you have to be patient with the process. You have to be, first of all, finding a Latino therapist is a needle in a haystack. Finding a brown therapist is a needle in a haystack. If you're young and thinking of going to college or becoming a therapist, we need people like you. Mm-hmm. But also be patient and be open. You could end up having a male therapist who's exceptional, and don't get lost in the fact that you may have to introduce yourself and what you're dealing with several times to a new therapist until you find your match.
Right. Because it's just like medicine.
It's a process.
It's just like it's a relation. It's going to be a relationship. So it's just like that. So it's not just. I've been to several where I'm just like,
right.
There's some
there's going to be times where you're like, exactly. Because therapists, they're also humans.
Right. And it's not you're gonna go to a therapist or to a therapy session and the first second you're good. Oh, good. It's going to take work. That's what I was talking about. Work. Like a blow job and a hand job.
Wow. She always finds a way to bring it back. But by the way, work. Blowjob and hand jobs are work.
Our work.
So that's love. You better love. That better be love.
Because if it ain't love, why are you doing the work?
What's love got to do with it? Love better have everything to do with it here. I think we should end with that amazing quote that you have up on your computer.
Oh, she's not being a bitch. She's just less likely to put up with your shit.
Bad bitches have bad days too.
And it's okay to have them. It's okay to have them. It's okay.
But not too many.
Not too many. Don't let nobody steal your joy. Girl. Live in that shine. Oh, I hope you like my haircut.
So I got a haircut!
I.
Don't touch it too much.
I know. Ya está todo jodido. Está bien. El highlight está bien, no, mira.
For real.
El tuyo también, mira. All right, y'all.
Bye.
Gracias for listening to Cositas Mami Never Told Me. We hope you loved this episode. Make sure you subscribe, follow, and share Cositas Mami Never Told Me on all your social channels. Todas las redes sociales. And don't forget, if you want in on the real tea and see all of our reactions to the craziness, watch this episode on YouTube. ¡Qué bochinche!